I'm meteorologist John Dawson, Fox 26 in Houston. Let's get ready to talk about spring break. Everybody I know has the same spring break this year. Sometimes it seems like one person will have one and then another school district another, and I'm sure there's some other folks with different spring breaks, but at least everybody I know is going to be on spring break this week. And one of our favorite activities of most of the people I know as well is going to be the rodeo. So I hope you've got plans at some point during spring break to get out to the rodeo. I know I do, and we're going to see that there is some rain to definitely be aware of. And we look at the next 5 days, that's Monday through Friday here, we do see definitely some rain coming to southeast Texas. And as I always tell people though, unless it's just severe storms in the forecast, which we're not looking like that at the moment, then the rodeo's fine to work with a little bit of rain. There's some indoor activities you can dip inside out of a rain or shower, which usually just kind of moves on over. Then you can get right back into the fun. Those folks running the carnival, they're going to be monitoring the weather. They're going to be keeping you safe. If there's any lightning that's in the area that would maybe perhaps make it dangerous, they're not going to put you up there on the Ferris wheel in conditions like that. So don't necessarily let a little bit of rain keep you from going to the rodeo if that is in your plan. So when you see this for Tuesday, when we're definitely going to be looking at a possibility of a brief isolated shower, that's definitely not going to be something that we're concerned with as far as the rodeo is forecast. And most of your outdoor plans should be good for Tuesday. Certainly on Monday and Wednesday, we're looking great. Now, Thursday and Friday, when things get a little bit more interesting, late in the day, probably in the overnight hours on Thursday is when a front moves through. So the rain chances here are going to be focused on Thursday later in the day, on Friday earlier in the day. So just start planning accordingly a little bit. So your Thursday night rodeo plans might be a bit of a concern to sort of, again, keep an eye on the weather as we're moving closer. But if you got plans Thursday morning that might be outdoors for spring break, I think for the most part we're going to be okay. And then late in the day on Friday, whatever those plans might be, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape. Let's talk about the humidity, because you're definitely going to be able to notice this right away as we start spring break on Monday. There's going to be less humidity in the air than what we normally find for us here in Houston. Typically, we're usually in this humid area right here just in general, with our dew points in the 60s. Sometimes when we get into the higher portions of summer and like August and such, we'll be running those dew points even higher. But when we see dew points dropping down into the 40s or the 30s, that's really very pleasant for us here in the Houston area. So when we get into Tuesday and even for most of Wednesday, we're going to be looking at some very comfortable weather. And you'll notice that we're going to peak here as that front begins to arrive, and that's going to drop as you move throughout the day on Friday. So obviously when it's raining on Friday, that's going to be affecting the amount of humidity in the air. But once we get the rain cleared out, then we're going to expect those to continue to drop, and that sets us up for another great looking weekend, I think, although not as warm as what we've seen at the weekend before spring break. We definitely had some warm afternoons. So again, last week and that weekend right before this spring break here, much warmer temperatures. So overall, this is a cooler spring break. I actually don't even have any 80s in the forecast. Now, it's a possibility, depending on when the rain arrives on Thursday, we might actually hit the 80-degree mark for a few of us. But overall, much cooler temperatures expected, and we've got a couple spots just to kind of be aware of. A little stray shower on Tuesday. Don't make any plans around it necessarily, but when we get into Thursday night and into Friday morning, that's when we're going to stay connected. We're going to watch a little closer as we get into that time period and see those showers and maybe even some storms. And then as we move into St. Patrick's Day, we'll be clearing or getting rid of the rain throughout the day, setting us up for a cooler weekend. Look, we're going to start Saturday and Sunday in the 40s, and overall it does look like it'll be, for the most part at least, rain-free next weekend.